What is up, everybody watching on the Midnight Mike Show and also watching on Midnight Mike Studios, the alternate channel that all of this horror and 80s and 90s content will be getting towards eventually. Right now, I'm going to put it on both channels so that people can enjoy, and those who have been watching myself and Maddie for the past 2 years can get acquainted with what we're doing here. A Friday the 13th retrospective. We're to Friday the 13th part 2. If you want to watch our first retrospective on Friday the 13th part 1, that is available if you're a member on the Midnight Mike Show channel, but for free at Midnight Mike Studios. You can go check that out, and that's going to be the same thing with this. As soon as it goes off of the air, it will be for members only on the Midnight Mike Show, but just go over and subscribe to Midnight Mike Studios, and you can get all that stuff. And hopefully it'll be a blast for all of us. Regardless, let's start this show and bring Maddie in. Maddie, how you doing tonight?
Good. Real good. Just finished up my rewatch of part 2.
Yeah, I saw you shaved your head. You look like Lex Luthor again.
I'm far more comfortable, I'll tell you that.
Well, I assume because of the heat going on.
Fucking insane. Like I say, I already proved to you fuckwits I have hair, so
now you could just always be
I can be my true self as usual.
We could always just send people back to the shows and say, Maddie proved himself. Are you wearing a whole shirt?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I love showing my girls why the song off Celebrity Skin that's super popular.
Celebrity Skin.
Is that the name of the song?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it had a different name of the song, and the album was Celebrity Skin.
Nope.
All right. Well,
I thought the same thing actually.
Well, my daughter likes it because she has blonde curly. Well, it's less curly now, but me and my wife think once she gets to puberty age, it's going to curl back up because that's what happened to my wife. So she has blonde curly hair and she has a pink electric guitar.
Well, it's funny. So I was thinking about this, and I was telling my friend, I said, I've always loved the song Doll Parts. Okay. And one of the most resonating lines for me is, someday you will ache like I ache. And back when you're a teenager, it's like, yeah, fucking edgy. What's up? You don't even know my pain. And now that I'm way on the wrong side of 40, I'm like, someday you will ache like I ache is more like my warning to young people. I'm like, my knees will be your knees one day, fucker.
There you go.
Yeah, John, speaking of aching, man, how you doing, buddy? I know you've had your surgery, and I just saw your comment. Yeah, dude, that's a bummer, man. I hope you're feeling all right.
All right, well, let's get into this, folks. Friday the 13th, part 2 from 1981. We're going to go through it. We're going to go through it scene by scene. I'm going to try to move through it quickly. When I'm just, throwing off stuff, I have some visual aids, of course, for all of you watching, just so that if we bring up a character, you have, by the way, there's going to be spoilers. So this isn't the kind of review.
Look, the movie is over 45 years old. Like, I'm sorry. It's not, maybe it's almost 40, but look, these retrospectives, you get notice, they're coming. Cry me a fucking river if a movie made in 1981 is spoiled for you.
Well, another thing is that on the last retrospective for the first one, I told everybody that all the original Paramount Friday the 13th, 1 through 8, and it's going to take us a while to get through those, are available for free on Pluto TV.
Yeah, there's a million places you can watch them.
So. So please feel free.
Look, I don't mean to be a dick, but fuck right off if you actually have a complaint that we're spoiling a movie that came out when I was fucking 3. And I'm 500 years old.
Let's do this. It's time for our feature presentation.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so Friday the 13th, part 2. It's not like the first one where you could say, oh, Kevin Bacon's in it and Betsy Palmer's in it. Well, Betsy Palmer is kind of in it. Yeah, she did come back to do a little cameo in this film. Alex is in here. Hey, guys, thanks for doing these.
Alex, what's up, babe?
I'm glad you are here. I am glad you are here because part of these is because of people like you who also, love the Jets, love football, but also love horror movies, and pop culture movies and all that stuff. But Friday the 13th, part 2, came out in 1981. And I'm going to quickly whip through the opening, what they usually call a cold open before the credits hit. And Jason basically comes from Crystal Lake. Well, I guess you don't know it's Jason yet, but these mysterious feet are walking around a standard.
Let me stop you right there. There's a lot of nits to pick in this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, like, all right,
you can now. I don't want to know what your final grade's going to be, and I don't know.
No, I'm not even close to talking about that.
Yeah, but my point is, you came in saying this is one of my favorite.
This is my favorite, and again, because I've only watched 1 and 2 in the last decade. Recently, this is still my favorite, but that's all I'm really comparing it to is 1. They really, really rushed this one because a lot of people forget. Paramount had no idea what a hit they had on their hands when Friday the 13th came out, and everybody went batshit for it. So they fucking rushed this movie. So they're like, I think at the end of this, we might just have to do like a rewatchables ripoff and do a picking nits section, because I have so many fucking things watching it now where I'm like, wait, what the fuck? But again, I still love it.
And again, Paramount was actually embarrassed of this franchise.
Yeah, at first they were like, wait,
they did not want to be making these movies, but they kept making them for, let's say, $1 million,
money talks, $3 million, bullshit walks.
Yeah, and they'd walk away with 15 or 20 million off of
it. I mean, it's great, and I know Mike and I are old enough to remember when these would be on network television.
Oh yeah. I think I told you I've been trying to get those versions. I'm
gonna start looking into them too, because there's a lot of weird little added shit in a lot of those movies. So I'm gonna start working on that, and if I find them, I'll make sure you get a copy too.
Yeah, because my whole thing is that I haven't really showed my daughters. If anybody who's new, because this is also on the Midnight Mike Studios channel. Anyone who watches this new, I have a 5-year-old and 8-year-old. They've been watching horror movies since they were born. But the one thing that I always skip through, whatever, is nudity with sexual content. What do I mean by that? Hold on. In the beginning of the original Halloween 1978, you see Michael's sister's boobs for a minute. We don't care if they see that. They've seen boobs.
They have their own.
Well, no, they don't, but not yet.
They're girls.
Oh yeah, but my point is that if it's in a non-sexual manner, if it's like someone stepping out of a shower, whatever. But when it's a sexual thing, so with the Friday the 13th movies, there's a lot of that. Sexual breasts.
This one, I was surprised watching this one as to how there was a real lack of nudity.
Well, there was supposed to be a very, very long full frontal nudity scene.
We'll have to discuss that. I was just kind of surprised. I was like, there's an awful lot of wet t-shirt contest-esque nudity, but not, whatever. So
yeah.
But all right, take us away. Go for it.
Okay, so Jason or these feet are in a town.
Nice.
And walking around, and what you find out is that he's hunting the survivor from the original, Alice, who cut off his mother's head, and apparently he saw this happen. Then you have a very padded run dream sequence of Alice sleeping in her bed, and it's basically an excuse to show what the end of the first movie.
Yeah, it was just a recap.
Yeah, exactly. It was a recap. She's just rolling around in bed, just.
Props to Adrienne King, though. Love her.
Yep, for coming back, and we talked about it on the first one about the stalker situation, which kind of kept her from acting, but she did agree to come back and do this. And then you have the conversation with her mother. She gets out of bed, she goes to take a shower, but her mom calls, and that was all improv. She said that several times. They just told her to make something up. Then you have the obligatory cat scare. Cat jumps through the window, and Alice is dead when she opens her refrigerator door to see the head of Mrs. Voorhees.
Is that who that's supposed to be? Because it really didn't look like her.
No, but then Jason comes and
watching it again, I was like, "Is this some random dead chick?"
No, it's supposed to be the decapitated head of the mother. And you'll notice
he was nice enough to take it with him when he left.
Well, I will say this,
and he took all of them with him.
But you'll notice that the head looks different here. Like, so in the beginning, it looks kind of like Pamela Voorhees a little bit.
Nothing
but it's
like the one on the altar.
Well, that's because this was 2 months after the events of part 1. Once you get to the camp, you're 5 years later. Yeah, so it makes a big difference.
They do make mention that they don't know what happened to Alice.
Yeah, she disappeared in story.
Disappeared, and I'm like, all right. Like, part of me wants them to find her body someday. Like, give Alice a proper burial.
I do think it was dark on the version I was watching, but I do think there are bodies in that in Jason's shack?
I don't, only because, I mean, there might be, but they weren't discovered by the sheriff. You know what I mean?
Well,
He
but
was
the
like,
sheriff got killed when he got to
yeah,
Jason's
but
shack.
all he
So-
got was to the toilet. But I'm just saying, listen, there's a smell when
Oh,
there's a human corpse.
yes, there
and
is.
He would
Or
have.
any corpse.
Now,
There's a
granted, the
rotting.
writing on this is a little suspect, so they probably didn't factor that in. Again, the nitpicks for this fucking movie are a mile long.
Well, one nitpick before we get to our opening credits is, where is Alice living?
Yeah,
That
is she
Jason
like
could
in
just
Boston?
wreck- Yeah, well, my whole thing is that in the first film, we find out that she said to the creepy John Lennon looking guy, like, it's not working out. I got to head back to California. Well, this isn't California. Jason didn't walk
Yeah,
from New
Jason
Jersey
did
to
not hitch
California.
from Jersey. And furthermore, if that shit happened to me, I'd be as many time zones away as I could fucking
Correct.
get.
And it seems like she went
I'd be
through
in
all this
Alaska.
shit. Yeah, it seems like she went through all this shit at Camp Crystal Lake and then
Moved like 5
moved to the-
miles away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again,
Oh.
the nitpicks, fucking as long as your arm.
Again, the first movie filmed in New Jersey, right near, actually close to the Delaware River. And this movie was filmed in Connecticut. And I believe it was Kent, Connecticut. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that. Maybe somebody in the comments can, but I believe it was Kent, Connecticut that this movie was filmed. You get your opening credits and you are introduced to Sandra and her boyfriend, Jeff, who are counselors headed to this counselor retreat. Which is on the same lake as Camp Crystal Lake, so it's on Crystal Lake.
Cannot learn their lesson.
And they call their friend Ted for directions, and you get your first Crazy Ralph appearance. And once again,
Big ups, Crazy Ralph. I love that they brought him back for this, because I'm sitting here. Again, another nitpick. If I'm Jason and I can just wander off to the suburbs of Trenton or wherever the hell Alice was living and kill her there, I'm probably going to take Ralph out sooner because he's blowing up my spot.
Yeah, but he's so crazy that no one believes that he's blowing up the spot. We've talked about it. He's sane Ralph. He's not Crazy Ralph.
Yeah, but dude, if I'm embezzling money and a homeless guy is telling people I'm embezzling money, I'm shutting that fucking guy up. I don't care.
No, I agree with that. But once again, we decided on the last show that not only is he sane, but it's also it's his delivery.
Yeah,
if he would just come up to people calmly and say, "Guys, listen, here's the problem.
Listen, come here. Just
completely different.
Real quick. No.
Good to see you, Chris, man. Good to see you. If anybody's in here, please hit that like button. Let people know we are live. We're live on 2 YouTube channels right now, both the Midnight Mike Show and Midnight Mike Studios. We want to eventually move these reviews over to that.
I noticed you're wearing your Yankees cap, which a certain character in the film wore as well.
Oh, you're right. Paul was wearing
a
Yankees
rocking
cap.
A Yankees
That was not planned. That was not planned. I grabbed the first hat that because I always try to wear Jets hats on our Jets show.
Yeah, well, whatever. This is a Jets show.
But yeah, so Crazy Ralph. So while they're on the phone with Ted, Sandra, and Jeff, their car starts being towed, and they
first
have to
of all, I'm gonna stop
it.
you right fucking there. As a guy who's driven trucks for a long time, nobody tows a fucking car that fast.
Yeah, that was pretty quick. Now, in today's world, they have those things that could just slide under,
slide under, yeah. But in 1981, that shit ain't happening. But
no, you're gonna have to hook that shit up.
The best part of it is, so we find out it's a ruse, and Ted basically sent his homeboy to go tow their shit and fuck with them. And I'm like, you know what? That's the same kind of bullshit I would totally do.
For those of you watching, Ted is the trickster there right in the center, whereas Jeff and his girlfriend Sandra are on each side. But these characters,
in a whorehouse with $100 bill hanging out of his zipper.
But these characters have apparently known each other for a long time because they mention, oh, it's going to be like old times, this, that, and the other thing.
And I will say the cast of this crew, like the counselors, they're all actually really likable.
I would agree. Yeah,
I would totally have a beer with these guys, like Jenny, Ted, all these guys. The guy in the wheelchair, I forget his name. They're all cool as shit. Like, you would 100% be friends with these guys.
It's Wheelchair Mark, by the way.
Okay, I'm not calling him Wheelchair Mark.
I will be. That's how I have him in my notes.
And I won't do that because I want to get canceled. I don't want to.
No, my thing is that whenever to remind me, because once again, in horror movies, there's so many characters.
Yeah, everybody has a little thing. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a thing. So like if a character is black, I'll call him like Black Joe. or wheelchair Mark, or whatever. But
Yeah, okay,
regardless, you'll know who we're talking about when I say
something
wheelchair
really
Mark.
racist. I like it.
So that it is a joke. They get in the car, they decide to head to Crystal Lake. You find out, like I said, that it is a counselor's training seminar for counselors around the area. And what does that say? I'm having a hard time reading my notes. Oh, it's not okay. So they're not at Camp Crystal Lake.
No, they're on the same lake, but they're
on Crystal
basically
Lake
on the other side.
Correct.
My vibe.
And then you get this shot, and I took two of them because you have to watch her walk. There, see, look, if I go back and forth, it's like she's walking.
Face.
But I'll tell you what, that's one of the nicest booties in horror history.
Man.
But the reason they're showing you this close up is because the guy who likes her, Scott, is sitting there like Bart Simpson with a slingshot and hits her right in the
in
ass.
the cheeks.
So you meet Scott, and then the girl with the ass is Terry. We'll call her hot ass Terry. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna call her Pokies Terry because I think she's the same girl who wears the shirt that is it might as well be a wet t-shirt on her the whole movie.
Oh, I have that here. Since you brought it up.
Yeah, that's her.
What is like if there are any girls' wives, if Alex is still watching, I want to know what would make you without a bra wear a shirt that's cut off. Not that men mind, but
my question is, if it's hot, why are you wearing long sleeves?
But it just doesn't seem practical. Like it's so high up. Anytime you lift your arms or do anything,
the 80s were awesome.
Yeah, the 80s were awesome. Not going to argue with that. Ted brings up while they're on their way to this camp in the truck. Ted brings up to Sandra and Ralph about Camp Blood as they move a tree out of the road and find a little sign that says Camp Crystal
Here we
Lake.
go. Another nitpick. Like, it's implied that Jason put the tree in the road because you see him like staring at him. Yeah, because he's like watching him and shit. Like they do the camera angle where he's watching him. But like, why the fuck would he do that? Like, who cares? He's gonna kill you anyways. Like Jason, like if Jason put the tree in the road, they'd turn around and he'd be like, "Oh man, my workload just got a lot easier." Like it's just, I guess it's supposed to be ominous, but it's just kind of like, and it's not like it's a tree that you or I could move up by ourselves. Like it's a branch that, it would be heavy, but like either of us could drag that out of the road.
Yes, well, one fully grown man should be able to drag, at least drag it so you can drive. Correct.
What are you doing, dude? But again, and I hate to be the interrupter, and I feel like I'm going to be that guy a lot in this show. But there's just so much shit that I'm like calling like bullshit on. I can't,
dude. It's understandable. It's understandable.
It's ridiculous sometimes.
Well, once again, it's horror movies, so a lot of times it seems like even the guys who write it don't care.
Well, the thing is, again, this was so rushed. And I think, again, I haven't seen part 3 in a long time, but I will watch it for our next one. I feel like the writing in part 3 will be a little more solid because they will understand, okay, dude, there's not much to compare here. All right.
I don't think the movies become really good watchable movies till you get to 4. I think 3 of the first 4, I think 3 is the worst.
Okay, I haven't seen it in a very long time. 4, though, I do remember being very coherent and smart.
Yeah, 4 is great. I love 4.
Again, I'm a big fan of 4. It's one of those where I feel like this one is so rushed that they're just like throwing whatever against the wall and seeing if it sticks. I guess we'll find out with 3. Again, I've been a good sport about this. I have not watched ahead. I literally watched the movie the day of the show on purpose. So, but yeah, it gets a little brutal on some of these fucking writing parts.
All right, well, so everyone is now there's a little time jump. You don't really see it, but Sandra and all of them are all of a sudden at the camp because there's a meeting. Paul, the head counselor, is going to be having a meeting just to welcome everybody, remind them of safety precautions. And in this scene is where you meet Vicky, Terry's the girl with the hot ass. You meet her dog Muffin. You meet Paul, the head counselor. You meet Scott, who's the slingshot guy, wheelchair Mark, and Ginny finally arrives to the camp, and you find out she's not only the head counselor, Paul's girlfriend, but she's also his assistant and probably should have been there a couple hours ago.
And she also rules. I'm going to say this right now. Ginny is 100% my favorite of all the people in all the Friday the 13th movies, including Tommy Jarvis. I would kill for a novelization of more Jenny. Jenny is a bad motherfucker. If they were to put Jason in Dead by Daylight, I would happily kill for them to make sure Jenny is one of the survivors. I love Jenny.
Well, one of the things is that we talked about there was like a meme that I brought up on our Jet show of all the final Jason girls, and it said, which one would you save? And I, of course, picked the ones that I thought were literally the most attractive. But Maddie picked the two that would be best to fight along with you, and I agree with him. I think Ginny and Larpar Lincoln, who's Tina in Part 7, are definitely the ones that you would want fighting alongside you. But,
well, I'm a progressive, modern male feminist, as everyone knows.
Yeah, you are.
No, it's not that, but I can't stress enough. Love Jenny. I think she's awesome as shit. I feel like the funny thing is talking about who we would save. I don't think we'd have to save Jenny. Jenny take care of her own self.
Same with Tina.
Yeah, Tina be like, yeah, fuck him, bury him in an avalanche.
On the screen, you are seeing Terry with her dog Muffin, and then Vicky, who, by the way, I think maybe this isn't the best picture of her. I don't know. I'm just taking quick screenshots while I'm watching the film.
Right.
But I think Vicky is the most attractive in this film.
They both have their moments.
Yeah. Well, Vicky is thirsty as hell.
Oh, yeah.
It's like she makes no bones about the fact that she wants to have sex with Wheelchair Mark.
Oh, no. I mean, the perfume scene says it all.
And she straight up asks him.
She's like, hey.
She's like, what does everything else work?
Does your dick work or what?
What's up, Matt Wilson?
If he said no, he would have been like, she'd have been like, we'll figure it out.
Camp Kenma in Kent, Connecticut for the camp
there you
scenes, and New Preston, Connecticut for the downtown scenes, according to what I read. Yes, and very soon I'm actually going to be going. The camp is not, I believe, is not there anymore. At least the Packanack or whatever they call it lodge is not there anymore. Maybe some of the cabins are, but the scenes in the town at the gas station and things like that.
Thoughts about the town. Believe me, we'll get there.
How do you have thoughts about the town? We're already past the town. We
go back. Oh, you mean
when
town, don't we?
Correct. All right, let me get through this. If we're gonna be on time, Maddie,
we're probably not.
No, we gotta be.
We'll see.
We gotta start.
We said that last fucking time.
That we're gonna do it this time. So all the counselors arrive. Paul gives his safety speech, his welcome speech, and then it cuts to later that night, and there is a campfire, and he then decides to tell everybody about the legend of Jason Voorhees and what happened with.
This is an iconic scene because they use this in future films.
Yes,
and I think if I remember right, I think they put part of it in the Friday the 13th game. I think they put it in there. Like they do the whole 9 yards with it. So
yeah, well this scene is, I think, seen in like flashbacks in 3 and 4 maybe, but I also think when they end up doing a flashback in like 7. And it's definitely in there.
His voiceover is great. I mean, he really delivers it well.
But one thing I thought of, and I hate to bring up Wheelchair Mark again, but it just does not seem to be convenient for a guy in a wheelchair to be a camp counselor at a camp where it's dirt roads everywhere, hills, and then a beach.
Well, again, and here we go nitpicking again. But Mark, excuse me, and his wheelchair get lots of places that make no sense. I don't see a single fucking ramp.
Yeah, there's no handicap access.
So unless somebody's just fireman carrying him and his wheelchair up to places, but you got to let shit slide. So
WMD comes in and says, "Love this movie. Some really great kills." I will talk about that.
Not agree harder, my man.
I agree, but I also disagree. We'll talk about it later on in the show or in the review. When we get to our final slasher scores. Mark, Wheelchair Mark, not the other Mark.
Though I like the guy.
No, he's a good character.
You're 100% right. It's like if it rains and it's fucking muddy out, that dude is stuck.
Yeah, and there's hills and now he's a camp counselor, right? What age group is he trying to counsel? Because how is he going to keep up with kids?
Right, like he's gonna jump in the lake and a million different things. 100%.
I don't know about that, WMD. We'd have to get confirmation on that.
In the game, it might have.
This is where you find out the timeline, by the way. And the Friday the 13th timeline is fucked up. Like
it makes no sense.
By the time you get to part 7, it's supposed to be like 2005, but everyone is clearly from 1988.
Honestly, this movie takes, like, Austin Powers tells you how to handle this movie when they're like trying to figure out their chronology in the second one, and he's like, "Oh, I've gone cross-eyed." It's like, yeah, just let it go.
Yeah. So at the campfire, he says that Alice was killed Alice disappeared 2 months after the events of the first movie, and then you find out it's 5 years later. So on a timeline, once again, it's one of 2 years. It's either 1984 or 1985. And once again, we'll find out why in the next film, or no, in part 4, whichever one they see Jason's mother's grave in. I think that's 3 or 4. But
I don't even remember seeing her.
Well, because it, in the first movie it says, and there's Camp Crystal Lake 1958, and then it cuts to that pretty Annie saying hi to the dog, and it says present day. Well, the movie came out in 1980, so that would mean that the first one takes place in 1980.
Right.
Okay. Whenever you see Pamela Voorhees's tombstone, it says she died in 1979. So they're already fucking up the timeline. So if the first one took place in 1979,
I don't think they give a shit at all.
They do not.
They just know that the checks are clearing and they're gonna go with it.
Correct. So if we're going by 79, we're looking at 84 here. If we're going by 80, we're looking at 85. That's basically, and then Ted, big prankster, comes out with his little spear and his mask.
Yeah, the mask.
The crap out of everybody. And Paul says to everybody in no uncertain terms, Camp Crystal Lake is off limits. Okay. And if you've watched The State, off limits as a favor to me. And I had to ask this too. And I'll bring up the picture again of them around the campfire. But it's not only here, it's also when they're getting ready to go out, when they're hanging out in the house. Who the fuck are half these people?
Yeah, there's a lot of people here that we never see, never get killed.
Never have a line.
The picture you had, if you still have it, of these two.
Yeah.
Who's the chick back there with the glasses?
Yeah,
and there's fucking Tanner from Bad News Bears behind her.
Exactly.
Like, who are these fucking?
Who are these people? There's also
they just get fired.
There's also like a random black dude.
Yeah, like I think Paul just fired like half of them and was like, you know what, fuck it, you guys are all retarded, get out.
I mean, you see them.
Dark Soldier, what's up, baby?
You see them partying at the camp. You see them at the campfire. You see them swimming when they're all jumping off the raft.
They're not out drinking at the end of the movie with them.
But that's where we have to assume they all went.
Yeah.
Because we know who stayed behind, and it's
maybe
our
there's
main
some
characters.
Crazy fucking roller disco at this fucking small town of 500 people that we just don't know about. I don't know.
It is still the first evening, and Sandra is trying to talk Jeff, saying, I want to go see Camp Crystal Lake. Ginny goes, calls it a night, says, I got to go back to my cabin. And then there's a big jump scare. I thought this was Ralph who's going to jump scare her. It turned out that it was Paul who jump scares her, but then Ralph is voyeuring outside.
Yeah, Ralph's out there jacking off.
Yeah, but this is the end of one of our favorite characters.
I know, and Ralph deserved better.
He did.
But
he didn't even get to jump scare or like say to one person, like he said to Jeff and Sandra in town that you're all
at
doomed.
The phone booth, and I'm like,
but
you know this place is bad news, Ralph. What the fuck are you doing out here? Because you had to bike like 7 miles out here.
So yeah, once again, I agree with you. I think he could have not only had a better kill, but I also think you could have given him a little bit more screen time. Where remember when he was hiding in that kitchen like pantry in the first movie? We could have had another one of those.
I got a theory. I think Ralph and Mrs. Voorhees used to fuck.
What?
Yeah. They're
so
the
maybe
same age.
Could Jason be his son?
Could be his son, but we all know that Elias Voorhees. Dad,
well, maybe Ralph's name is Elias Ralph Crazy or something.
I think Ralph and Mrs. Voorhees used to bang like in the 60s. He was helping her get over her guilt. And then he figured out Jason was running around, which, let's be real. Okay, Jason's mom had no idea Jason was out there. Like, there's so much about this movie that makes no sense. But I think Ralph and Mrs. Voorhees used to bump uglies, and I will die on that hill. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.
Scott coming in. There it is with $2. Says Maddie, the Meeman is fresh. Memon?
I think he means lemon.
Oh, your head.
Yes.
Yeah, he's looking
feeling good, baby.
And this isn't a Jet show, so instead I'll give you this. Thank you, Scott.
I think
Much
he needs like
appreciated.
the Friday the 13th, like re.
Oh, it's not melon.
Melon. Okay, appreciate it, brother.
Oh, it's not
Appreciate it.
lemon. It's melon. Thank you, Scott. I
We got the
appreciate it.
gist though, baby. We knew. Thank you. Yeah. So the irony is today's the first time in Denver it hasn't been like insanely fucking ridiculously hot. It's like
Oh,
been
it's
like
dude. We're in the middle of a
70
heat wave.
degrees.
We're in the mid 90s.
Oh, I know you guys are a mess. We're in the 70s today, and it's like overcast, and it's so nice. And I went out and shaved my head, and I was like, oh yeah, today would be like the one day I didn't mind having hair.
All right, so here we go. Once again, I want to point out that in this movie, one of the things, and I will bring this up with my final grade, is that it was between this and the first movie, but this one even a little more. The summer camp ambiance is so real. Like you feel like it's almost like you're watching something that's actually going on.
Like they're getting ready for summer camp.
Yeah, and but I mean, like even the way it's filmed and like the cinematography and like whatever
Cabins,
cameras,
yeah,
it just feels real. Like
Yeah,
so much
they
more
did a
real
good
than if
job.
you watch something from today
yeah,
that took
no,
place in the camp.
like if you pulled up there, you would believe you were at a summer camp.
Yes, exactly. So here we go to the next day. Wheelchair Mark is sitting there taunting everybody running. I don't think that's his place. Muffin,
I like it. He's like,
He's-
fuck you guys. You can't touch me.
Muffin, the little dog, meets Jason. And then it immediately cuts to a scene of hot dogs being cooked. So we're supposed to
So
assume
let's spoil this a little bit here.
there's no
we
spoilers
think
on the
that-
1981 movie. Remember that.
Well, you know what I mean. Like we think that Muffin is murdered by Jason because they find something
Yes.
later. And I'm glad because I had forgotten about that scene that it turns out Jason didn't kill Muffin because Jason does not kill like animals or children. That's just not his
Correct.
deal. And I like that. So, but at first I was like, this motherfucker killed a dog. We breaking
Mhm.
up. But
Unless that ending scene is we'll talk about it. It could
all right,
be
we'll get there.
it could be a dream scene.
I don't think
Sandra uses her uses her girlfriend powers to talk Jeff into exploring Camp Crystal Lake. So while
And
everybody
any
else
dude can understand this because how many times have you been talked into some dumb shit? Like honestly, all of us, every dude here who's ever had a girlfriend has gone along with some fucking nonsense because they want to like keep their girlfriend happy, impress their girlfriend. That's how I watched Titanic.
once again, so while everyone swims and we're seeing all these people that we were talking about earlier, who the hell are they? Jeff and Sandra do go over to explore Camp Crystal Lake. And I just said once again that, and I have a picture, everything in this camp makes no sense and looks miserable for Wheelchair Mark. Look at him here. He's on sand. How are you pushing a wheelchair like yourself, unless someone, like Maddie said, unless someone else is doing it for you? How is he wheelchairing around on sand?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you
Like-
got to give it to him though. He's pretty cut.
That's true, but I
I don't look
still,
like that with my shirt off, and I run around all damn day.
my whole point is that just nothing at this camp.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It just makes absolutely no sense. They did not need to put a guy in a wheelchair. Maybe he is actually disabled. I don't know. Maybe that's something I
I
should
like
have
him
looked up.
too. Like as a character, I like Mark. Like I would again, all these guys are likable. I would 100% arm wrestle, play fucking video hockey, and drink beer with Mark.
I disagree with you, Maddie. Maddie said Bigfoot. I think Jason wins.
No, Bigfoot's not afraid of Jason.
No, he's not. But
There's no
Jason
fear.
is immortal. Bigfoot is not.
This Jason is not.
Oh, so we're talking about
Where
Jason.
we
from
are
part
right
2?
now, we have just a regular ass dude who has not been impaled by a fucking fence post and hit by lightning or anything else.
Okay. All right. If
So,
we're talking about this Jason alone,
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. Then while Sandra and Jeff are exploring Camp Crystal Lake, they come across a mutilated dog.
Yeah, and
So
it
we are
looks
to believe,
just like Muffin, and that's why I
Yes.
was upset. But it turns out it wasn't.
and at this point, they are caught by the local sheriff, and he
Who
has the most ill-fitting sheriff's uniform ever.
like, oh my god, dude! Like, you seriously want to look at this guy and be like, "Nice shirt. Does it come in your size?"
And like the patch that cops have up on the top sleeve.
Yeah, his is all.
This is like hanging down here. Like
Yeah,
it just
basically,
looks
it
horrible.
looks like somebody super glued it and it slid down.
Yeah,
He looks so bad.
like it got hot.
And
it just-
I do think that's on purpose, though. He's supposed to look kind of like a schmucky sheriff who you're like, oh, okay, Barney Fife is here to save the day.
All right, where are we? Oh, okay. So I like what he's like. He's yelling at the kids or whatever, and he says to him, "You're not even going to punish them." And
Dude, I promise you, any cop would be like, "Look, I just kicked him out of there." Like they act like
they did get punished,
knows
Maddie.
Jason is around, but then fast forward to when he sees Jason run across the street like a fucking moron, he just chases him.
We are almost there.
Jason. Yeah, I mean we're right there, so I didn't mind jumping ahead there.
So, but I said they did get punished. They get no seconds, no seconds on dessert.
Yeah.
They, by the way, not only in this film but also in the first one, there is a bird or loon sound, like some sort of loon. It sounded maybe like where it goes, caw, something like that. And they use it so many times in the first two films.
Yeah,
and
it's clear that the ADX is like,
yeah, they're just hitting a button.
Hey, it's been quiet. Throw the bird in there again.
So here it is. The cop is driving away from the camp and sees Jason run across the street. And I put laughing out loud. We have now entered what is officially in film history the slowest police chase that ever existed.
Oh, absolutely.
Ever.
It's so bad. Well, and like, I'm sorry, but if I see a guy running across a dirt road, like, I'm sorry again, having been a police officer for 15 minutes, he has no reason to pursue that guy.
No, oh no, there's no reason.
Dude's out there running
you
around.
have to remember, he's in a town that nothing means any. Like there's nothing going on.
Right, and he implies that Camp Crystal Lake, stay out of there. Why? Well, I don't know. Like like you're just like, oh, you're gonna go chase a guy who looks like one of the fucking I forget what they were called, but on Glow, on the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, there were Sarah and Mabel, and they wore bags over their heads. He's dressed like that.
Yeah. Oh, were they the like the terrorists? Like
no, they were like the Redneck Sisters or the Hillbillies or something. But they had like the overalls and the bag. Like that was the first thing I thought of. And I'm like, why are you getting out of your car?
Agreed. Like, why even bother?
I would literally go back and be like, hey, I think there's some dude running around in the woods.
So the cop in the slowest chase ever finds Jason's shack, goes in and gets a hammer, the back of a hammer to the back of the head.
I remember this kill from when I was a kid. This was one of the most like, ooh, make the knuckle fucker kills ever.
Definitely agree. So that cop's gone. No harm, no foul, because he was a dick anyway.
And nobody fucking says anything about it for the rest of the movie.
Well, what were they gonna say?
Right, but the whole town, like the entire town, who has a fucking straight up Friday night party in about an hour, no one mentions, hey, sheriff seems to be gone. Anybody notice that?
That's true.
Like,
that's true. Maybe word would have gotten around to the bar. Yeah. So though, speaking of a bar, we are now going to have a night on the town. Paul says to everybody, hey, everybody, things are going to get, we're going to get down to business starting tomorrow. So if anybody wants to head out on the town, please feel free, except for Jeff and Sandra, because they went over to Camp Crystal Lake.
Fuck you guys. You have to stay here and have sex.
But they're not going to be alone. Vicky, Terry, Mark, Jeff, Sandra, all stay.
Lots of people hung out.
Yeah, a lot of, so Terry stayed. Terry's the girl with the ass. And then Scott stays because she stays.
And my question is this: I didn't see a cooler full of beer or anything there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It'd be one thing if there was beer there to like hang out.
They were smoking pot. They were smoking pot.
Smoke pot, but like if my options are go to town, have a bunch of beers, like go drinking, or stay here where there's lake water, I'm going to town.
I probably would too, especially if there's no beer at camp.
Right. I mean, again, guys, I'm sorry. I'm totally the fucking nitpickingest motherfucker about this movie, but I still love it. Don't get me wrong.
So they all. But what I was saying is, Sandra and Jeff have to stay because they're in trouble. Scott stays because Terry stays, and then Mark stays because he's like, I'm an annoyance. I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like being a third wheel.
So Vicky stays because Mark stays.
Because Vicky is gonna get hers.
She's gonna get hers. Well, no, she's not.
Well,
She tries.
she's gonna die trying. I'll tell you
she's
that.
gonna die trying. Terry decides to go looking for Muffin again, and decides while she's doing that, why not go for a skinny dip?
I just walk by a random giant body of water, which I'm sure there's no mosquitoes in New Jersey at this time of the year.
Oh yeah, or God, water snakes, anything at
Yeah,
night.
dude, there's fucking water
Like-
moccasins and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so she just takes her naked ass into the water.
Which is not a bad thing.
So it's fine. I respect your decision as a woman.
And I also wrote that at least Mark is good at something. The guy can't use his legs, but he can arm wrestle and he beats everybody at camp. I just want to point that out. But I said this is the point where it was very clear that Vicky was just, she wanted that deal.
There was a fire down below and Mark needed to put it out.
Yes. Scott, while Terry is in the water, Scott, the guy who has a crush on her, have you ever seen That Thing You Do?
No, I never watched that.
Okay. There's a guy, a main character in that, who looks literally just like this guy, Scott.
Okay.
But it can't be the same person because they're like
The age, it's like 30 years difference.
15, I'd say.
Look, when you're as old as me, time is immaterial.
So Scott steals Terry's clothes, and so that when she gets out of the water, he makes sure to get his peek. Then while he's running away from her, he gets caught up in one of those like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's one of those things that when an animal steps on it, it catches their legs and holds them
Well,
upside
and that's just
down.
it. It wasn't even like that. It just was like a rope that just yanked his ass up. Like there wasn't even a complex strap.
Correct. But like I said, it was definitely
Yeah,
an
it
Acme
hangs
Wile E.
him upside
Coyote.
down.
And so she says, okay, as long as you're not going to fuck with me anymore, I'll go get a saw or scissors and cut you down. She leaves. He gets killed while he's upside down. A lot of horror fans know this, but I have a lot of my Jets fans who will watch this and all that stuff. People may be watching for the first time. But when you watch this scene,
Why did he use the back
Jason,
of the knife?
yeah, Jason uses the wrong side of the machete. It's so stupid.
Like it would have worked if he caught the lip of the machete on the neck and it was like it just ripped his throat. Like
Is what it is. Like I
so
said,
disappointed.
and when you would think when they were editing this, someone would have been like, "Hey, you guys, like seriously, we couldn't even get the knife pointed in the right direction."
Like just curious, if I tried to cut a rope with that knife and I used that side, I'd be there for a long fucking time.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to do it. Period.
Yeah, the friction would probably take you all day.
Yes, you'd have to go by the friction.
Retarded.
Well, at this point, I brought this picture up earlier, but I said that shirt is ridiculous. Like, I don't
love it.
understand. Oh no, I love it. Men love it, but I don't understand as a woman why you would put that on.
In the 80s, you would wear like midriff shirts like that, though. Like that was
That's
a
not
thing.
even
But
midriff.
that's not a midriff shirt. That's like an all the way up, like to if you were to actually sneeze, a boob is flopping out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Hollywood.
This is the famous scene at the bar where Ginny is contemplating what the deal is with Jason. And now she's had a bunch of drinks, and I wanted to point out I wasn't able to get a good screenshot of it, but behind Paul's head is a pinball machine.
Yep.
And those go for big fucking money.
Oh hell yeah, dude. Could you imagine how much the one from this film would cost?
It's non-existent because this building burned down only less than a year after the filming of this.
But if
movie.
somebody had taken that out and they're like, yeah, this is actually the one from the movie, like the pinball machine itself would be expensive. Times that by like 20.
Oh, agreed. It'd be a featured movie
Fucking
prop,
so cool.
along with being a Kiss pinball machine, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
Ginny's sitting next to those two, and I think she looks beautiful here. Actually, But this is the scene where she uses the term, "What is he, a frightened retard?" And a lot of people,
I laughed.
a lot of people, Maddie, and reviews and stuff will not either play that line if they're playing audio, or they won't mention it. But
Well-
it's like that's one of the funniest things she says, and it's even funnier how offensive the term "retarded," even though it's a technical term. It I don't know, but props to Ginny.
One of the things about Jenny, though, I think that I really like about
she's
her.
also, they mentioned it though, she is a child counselor.
She's got
That's
like
why
a degree in
she's
child
doing this.
psychology, but she's like naturally beautiful. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
she's
she's just
she's
very
very
natural.
pretty in a like doesn't need makeup, whatever. Like everything about Jenny rules. I love Jenny, and I think she's just naturally beautiful, very smart. Excuse me, very resourceful. Like again, I can't say enough about how awesome Jenny is as a character, and I'm really disappointed that they never brought her back in any of the sequels or anything. Like I feel like Adrian Steele, I think is her name, or no,
Amy.
it's, Amy Steele. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think she would have been game. She goes to conventions and shit all the time. Like she's cool as hell. She should have come back. I feel like.
I wouldn't have been against that at all. So Jeff and Sandra decide to you cut back to the camp. Jeff and Sandra decide to go fuck, and this is the when I was telling you that there
This
was
is the kill.
okay, no, well this was supposed to be a full like 5-minute sex
Oh,
scene,
really?
full frontal nudity, and they filmed it. Right? They filmed it. After filming Wrap, they found out that Sandra was 16 years old.
What?
Yes, sir. She was 16 years old
I did
when
not
she
know
filmed
that. I
this.
was this many years old right now when I found that out.
So they had to go back and cut this pretty much. So when I wrote Jeff and Sandra go to
Child
fuck,
pornography that they had access.
correct. I wrote Jeff and Sandra go to fuck. Watch out, she's 16, bro.
Was Tracy Lords not available?
No, she wasn't available. She was getting ready to go do Melrose Place.
Wow.
But yes, so this scene, yeah, this was supposed to be one of those
I
big
had
booby
no
sex
idea
scenes.
about that. I had
And-
no idea. That's crazy.
Well, there's a point where she's I think it's when they're going from the truck to the phone booth. She runs and nobody wears a bra in this movie. And they're bouncing all over the place.
There are bras in this movie.
And I said, I almost wrote, wow, Sandra. And then I was like,
Maybe
maybe I
not.
shouldn't bring that up. But there I go. I brought it up.
Yeah, you know.
So Jeff and Sandra go to have sex. Thirsty Vicky goes and gets she's gonna get hers, basically. So she goes to Mark, says, can I because he was arm wrestling everybody. She says, can I go next? He says, yeah. He puts his arm out. She goes, I don't need your hand, I just need your fingers. Line number one. Then she gets to asking him all the other stuff, like why is your leg, your legs don't work, does everything else work?
She is the epitome of you got to get yours, but fool, I got to get mine.
Yeah, she makes it very clear that if he's down, he's getting laid.
I don't even think she cares if he's down. It's happening.
She's just gonna.
She's like, you're gonna sleep sooner or later, you fucking cripple. We're doing it.
She's just gonna R the hell out of him.
Yeah, she is. It's going down for real.
What's up, Jets Worldwide? How you doing, Snowball? Good to see you, man. But okay, so this is one of the most famous scenes. If anybody watches this movie, if anybody's ever listened to a review, and so we're not breaking new ground here, but Vicky says we'll go find a cabin. We're gonna fuck, but first I've got to go freshen up. She goes back to her cabin, puts on a big poofy sweatshirt or sweater.
But she is wearing a bra.
She is wearing a bra, and Ginny's wearing a bra. So
Only time we see a bra in this movie.
No, Ginny's wearing one when she takes her top off. Earlier in the film, when she first goes back to her cabin.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so anytime a girl takes her shirt off, they have a bra on. But anytime they're just wearing a shirt, no bra. She goes back and gets this I'm gonna be a slut tonight look on her face, and pulls out literal poop brown undies.
I was like, this is your I'm gonna win this thing. Like, don't get me wrong, okay? Like, look, for the one, maybe two women will ever watch this. We don't care. Okay? We don't care if you shaved your legs. We don't care if you shaved your armpits. When we get the green light, our feet, it's pedal to the metal. Steady as she goes, it's happening. That said, that is not a win.
My point being is, and I don't know if I looked at the underwear she was physically wearing, but
it was better.
They couldn't be more or less. They couldn't be less sexy.
Like, yeah,
than the one she held up.
And my question is, did the actress not go, you guys fucking with me?
Yeah, like I got better ones in my suitcase.
The ones I'm wearing now are better.
Yeah, I'll get Hanes white cotton panties and that will be fine.
Yeah,
Like,
it was. I mean, again, it wouldn't stop anybody. Like, again, if you've ever seen the Chappelle Show when they do the home shopping one, where the chick looks like basically a chia pet down there, like they stuff her underwear down there, and he's like, "Would that stop you?" And he's like, "A lot of dudes be like, gotta do what I gotta do." Yeah, no, it wouldn't stop anybody. But it's a movie.
and by the way, during this scene, a lot of padding of the time again.
Oh,
There's a lot of just killing time to pad out that full runtime. It's what they do, especially in these first two
oh yeah. Like
Friday the 13th.
like what's funny is I skipped through a lot of dead air because this movie, according to Voodoo, is I think an hour and 26 minutes long.
Yeah,
or
it's something like that.
And yeah, it's more like 59 minutes long. If you,
If
skip
you cut out all the
quiet time and the moments.
yeah. Now at this point, Mark is wondering where she is, so he goes outside, wheels himself outside, and is looking for her, and he gets a cleaver to the face.
You know what though? I
Backwards
wanted
down
Mark
the
to put up
stairs.
way more of a fight right now, and I'll tell you why. Jason is still just a dude in this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark has very strong arms and an upper body. I'm like going, Mark, if Mark could get in close, Mark might be able to fuck Jason up.
If he could get in close. Like if
Well,
he
I
could get
mean,
a little
let's be
rumble,
honest,
a
dude.
little grappling going on.
Yeah, but I mean, if Jason like got close to him and Mark just grabbed a hold of him, he might be able to fuck him up.
Maybe.
Look,
We'll see.
I'm
Thank
on
you,
Team Mark.
Alex.
I'm a big Mark guy, and this is my favorite Jason. We all know that.
Brown granny pants. It is what it is. But Alex, I really do appreciate that. I hope you're having a good time.
I'm glad you guys are having fun.
Make sure to hit the like button, please.
Yeah, if you guys are having a good time. By the way, if you're having
especially-
fun, comment or put it in the chat just so we know we're not wasting our time.
Well, especially over on the Midnight Mike Studios page.
No,
The like means even more
No one
there.
cares.
Maddie, we're trying to get that page up and going here. It's a
You're
subsidiary
trying to give
page.
a fuck about that page.
You do give a fuck about that page.
I'm just fucking with you.
All right, Maddie's fired. Anyway, moving along. Just
That was good.
all right.
That actually had me laughing out loud. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. What? Stand up for it, baby.
So he gets the cleaver to the face. You get that famous shot of him going backwards down the stairs in his wheelchair.
That is a
Great
classic.
stuff. And
That's
then
that's a staple from Friday the 13th.
then Jason goes upstairs to the finished banging Jeff and Sandra and gives them the double kebab spear through both of them and kills both of them. Back at the bar, Paul and Ginny are going to leave. They're tired. They're ready to head back. But Ted and the other faceless characters who went decide to stick around and stay at the bar, thus saving their lives.
And here is the moral of this. Close the fucking bar down, you pussies. It'll save your life. Drink, drink, drink. Don't be a pussy and go home at 1 o'clock. Make them ask you to leave. And you know what?
But Ted even asks, he goes, because Paul says to him, he goes, yo, when the bar closes, you need to come back. And he goes, all right, no problem. Then they leave, and he literally goes to the next person. He goes, is there any more after hours places?
Yeah, no, Ted is the guy that we all actually are. He might look like a complete chode, but Ted is the guy that, well, I can't speak for you, but Ted is me in this movie where he's like, yo, where are we going to get fucked up in the gutter after this? Who's got some mad dog? Like 100%. Like, and that's the moral of the story is go to the bar, have a good time, stay late, fuckers.
Vicky, my favorite girl in the film, she dies while looking for Mark. Then Ginny and Paul finally return to the camp to dark. The lights are all out and it is quiet. It is calm. They're wondering what the hell is going on.
But the lights are on. The electricity is working.
But the lights are out.
But yeah, but there's electricity. Like,
yeah. And I think this is one of the creepiest scenes in the film. They're looking around a dark room and Ginny says to Paul, there's someone in this room.
Wait. You're skipping ahead.
How am I skipping ahead?
Because, motherfucker, they go up and see the bed that looks like a giant's maxi pad.
Okay, yes.
It's a joke or whatever. But yes, that scene is fantastic. She's like, Paul, there's someone in this fucking room.
Yep. I love that scene.
I love it, dude. Because she's like, dude, something is wrong here. And yeah, again, Jenny's on point, dude. That's my girl.
All right, here we go. I'm going to try to get through this ending chase scene real quick, and then we'll talk about it. The ending chase of Jason and Ginny is on because Paul is taken out when she says there's someone in this fucking room. Jason takes out Paul. We don't really see
what happens, but we just see Jason pop up.
But all of a sudden, it's a chase between Jason going after Ginny.
Much faster than the cop.
I do want to end this debate at when she's hiding under the bed at that one point, and Jason's up on the thing.
I want to talk about this.
Does she piss herself, or does the mouse piss? It looks like she
piss. She pisses herself. Okay. Is my take on it, only because.
But doesn't that lower her in your standards as like a badass?
I don't hold it against her because it's a poor part of the script. Like I hate it. Again, you can see what I wrote. But it's poor writing. I don't think Jenny would have actually pissed. And furthermore, was she eating asparagus? The guy's out the goddamn window. He's not going to hear that. He's not going to smell it. Like, why would he turn around? To me, this is just a poor...
He was on top of a chair.
He's leaving. He's going outside.
Oh, I thought this was when he was on top of the chair.
No, he's got the window open. Like, he looks around.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Okay.
And that's where I'm like, this is just such bad writing.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. they put this together in 1 year. The writing of it, the screenplay.
I'm just like, why would she piss
the
herself?
Casting? Yeah,
she's
everything.
Already dealt with so much horror. Like, what, a rat is going to make her piss her pants? Get out of here.
I put he chases her all around. He eventually chases her off this camp property into the woods, and she, of course, again, like the cop did, comes across Jason's shack. One of the things that I really like about this film, and I don't think they do enough in other subsequent Jason movies, is she's in the cabin and you see him running from outside through the window. Like, you see the window, she turns and sees him coming. And I thought that added to suspense. Like, you see him coming, you know he's there. I just don't think they do things like that enough. And I wrote definite suspense. Really enjoyed that. This is where Ginny comes across Jason's mom's head shrine that's surrounded.
Candles.
Surrounded in candles. There it is. And there's her sweater sitting there.
The sweater, which will become a video game staple for years.
Correct. And Jason and Ginny uses her, and they brought this up earlier in the film, her child psychology, which she's studying, to think, okay, if I put on this grotesque, nasty sweater and I keep my hair tucked in, I can make Jason think that I am his mother. And she speaks to him as his mother, and Jason falls for it, and he almost has him down. She almost has him like ready to, take him out, whatever.
Yeah.
When she slightly moves to the side, and Jason sees his mom's head.
Knock that fucking head off the thing immediately.
And folks, if you didn't know, Jason doesn't have a hockey mask in this movie. This is Baghead Jason.
Best Jason ever.
I disagree.
Don't care.
I don't hate it. I'm not against it. I
love it.
I actually mind the Baghead less than I mind his overalls and flannel shirt.
See, what I like about the Baghead is it only has one eye hole because he's deformed.
Yes.
And it kind of implies that like sloped eye doesn't work.
Yes.
So he doesn't need it. He just has the one eye hole. I love Baghead Jason. I think it's far more terrifying.
Right when Ginny moves and Jason realizes it's not his mom, luckily Paul's back. Paul comes in to help with the save, and then while he's fighting with Jason, Ginny comes up and puts a machete right through the side of his collarbone. I guess It goes down, gets him good, and kills Jason. And this is where the movie ends, but there is this final scene where Paul and Ginny leave Jason's shack, head back to the Packneck Lodge or whatever they call it, and they're in a room. They're on a bed with a window behind them, but they hear something at the door.
All right, I want to stop you.
Okay.
The iconic scene of her with the pitchfork like this.
Yes.
That is a fantastic image, scene, like everything. Ginny looks like her leg is fucked up, and she is like, it is go time for ho time. I'm going to stab any motherfucker who comes through there. She like her face, the actress, she looks desperate to stay alive. Amazing.
Yes, Chris, I still have them, and I know you don't probably want a Jets one, but I can send you out the Midnight Mike Show holographic.
No, you send that fucker the Jets ones only.
I'll send him a Jets one.
You only send him the Jets one.
I keep forgetting. Oh, there you go, Clan Jason. That's what we're dealing with. I'm in the bag. I'm in the bag at the moment. Oh,
Attaboy.
a lot of us are.
Like
That's
it,
cool.
respect.
Whack Shack. Good job, Snowball. So you get to this final scene. They hear something at the door. Paul opens. It's Muffin.
Dag.
So Muffin seems to be okay, but then right as everything is calmed, like, oh, it's just
They
Muffin.
did the same bullshit they did in the first one, where it's calm music and
and then Jason comes through the window. There he is.
great makeup. Look at that.
Great
That's
makeup effects.
So
That's
fantastic, man.
That's one of the only scenes.
That's what I mean. This is why the bag is so scary. Is you've just got this deformed fucking Hills Have Eyes looking motherfucker out in the woods.
And by the way, this is one of Warrington Gillette's only scenes as Jason in the film.
Yep.
I believe he ended up quitting after this, and then they had Steve Dash, I believe, take over as Jason.
People that do, yeah.
And another thing I forgot to mention now that the film is over, and we will talk about the one last bit, is Betsy Palmer did return, and this is a bad picture because they were kind of doing like a water effect of her
they were trying to make
out, like a dream kind of thing. But Betsy Palmer did come back to do a few scenes while Ginny was tricking Jason. Now, the reason I say, Maddie, that this last scene may or may not, could Muffin be alive, is Paul alive, is because the next thing you see after Jason
it's just Jenny getting wheeled out.
And she asks where Paul is,
and nobody says shit. Yeah, no, I like I said, in my world, Muffin lived. I like to think they took.
So, but that means that in your world, if Muffin lived, that also means that jump through of Jason is real. So, what do you think happened there? Did they fight him off again?
My hope is,
did he kill Paul, take Paul, but leave Ginny?
Paul somehow fucking fought him off and ran off, because Jason is still bleeding pretty heavily. Like, you don't get your collarbone chopped through, but the most important thing is Jenny lives. So
yes, Ginny does live.
So for me, that's the biggest thing. But that was one of the things I liked about the end of this movie, is that it's left very ambiguous. We don't know.
All right, well, Maddie, we've come to the end. It's time to give our official slasher score. And when I say slasher score, folks, we're not judging this movie against Casablanca. We are not judging this movie against Raiders of the Lost Ark.
We know what we're watching.
Yeah, we are judging this as a horror slasher film. Maddie, on a school letter grade, A to F. Here, let's hit that gavel first to get our final verdict. Maddie, A to F. What is Friday the 13th Part 2?
I thought before I put this on that I would give it an A, and I want to, but I have to be fair and honest, and I have to give it a B. It's a solid B. There's a lot of parts about this movie that I like that resonate with me personally, that I just love because I'm a fan. But if I'm being honest, and I've got my reviewer glasses on, it's not an A. It's a B. And if someone were to tell me they gave it a C, I could very easily be like, I understand why. But that said, there was enough in it that made me, again, love Jenny, love the thought that was given to the Jason, the child psychology, all that. So it's a B for me, and to be honest with you, it's still my favorite in the series so far.
Well, we've watched 2.
Right.
So we'll see. But Scott, the movie was released in 1981, but it's either taking place in 84 or 85, depending on what time.
2029. It's like Blade.
So my final slasher score for it is going to be the exact same as I gave the first movie. It's going to be a B+. And the reason that I did this is because I looked at it and I think that they are both equal when it comes to overall ambiance, like the reality of what you're seeing.
Okay.
Once again, not like, obviously I know it's a stupid horror movie, but I'm talking about just, it looks like someone went with a camera and was at a camp. and filming camp counselors. It just like the cabins, everything just looked good and made me feel like I was at a summer camp. So for that, they're 1 and 2 are equal.
Yeah.
I think that this movie is better than part 1 with suspense and scare. So like, there's someone in this room. There's someone in this fucking room. Or when you see Jason, like I said, coming at her from outside through the window and she's in the cabin, sees him. Things like that, I think, make the suspense and the scariness of this movie a little better than the first. But I think the first has the nod in practical effects. Tom Savini was not on this film. Now there are a few ones. Yeah, there's a few good ones. There's the hammer to the back of the head, and there's the cleaver to the face, and all that stuff.
The hammer is always going to be my favorite, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but when you go back to the first movie and you think about some of the kills in that movie, it's like the axe to the face in the bathroom. The thing through the neck of Kevin Bacon with that's Savini. That's Tom Savini.
No, 100%. You're not wrong at all.
So when I weighed it out, they're the same. I give them both a B+.
I think they're both great films too. Again,
yeah.
What's really fun about this is we're gonna watch as the series progresses how the effects get better and better. Because
and it also, like, Savini returns for part 4,
right? But this starts in 1980 and goes through. I mean, if we decide to do the remake, it goes through 2009.
Yep.
And so there's a lot to enjoy and a lot to just watch. Watch the evolution of practical effects versus CGI, etc. And we won't see CGI for a while.
Well, definitely not in the Paramount years, the first 8.
So, but the thing is it's fun to watch these movies and enjoy them and watch as the effects, because again, the effects in Part 4, I mean, I haven't seen that movie in forever, and I can tell you right now, they're fucking amazing. Like, so good. So
absolutely agree.
It's going to be a lot of fun to just kind of cruise through and enjoy all of them and watch as things get better. And I'm excited. Like I say, I really enjoy the series. And again, this is still my favorite so far. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see myself changing my mind as it goes along, but I haven't seen them in so long that maybe they will. Maybe it will.
Maddie, thank you so much for being here with me. I can't wait to continue, like you said, this retrospective on the Friday the 13th movies.
A lot of fun.
Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, we will be back on the Midnight Mike Show channel, and that is obviously for our regular Tuesday night show, talking all things New York Jets. There's nothing really to talk about, so we'll see.
Believe me. Yeah, what we're gonna basically do is plug this fucking show.
There you go. Maddie, thank you for being here, and I will see you tomorrow night.
My pleasure, brother.
All right, folks. I am Midnight Mike. I am your 21st Century Broadcasting Marvel. That's a name I've used since my old podcast that started in 2013. And I think I explained on the last show where that came from. But regardless, this show is being broadcast on my main channel, the Midnight Mike Show channel, but is also being broadcast on Midnight Mike Studios. It was originally called Midnight Mike TV, but I like Midnight Mike Studios better, so that I renamed it. Go to that page, subscribe. Eventually, reviews of things like this, horror movies, TV, pop culture from the 80s and 90s, all that stuff will be exclusive to that channel. And there's going to be other videos that I'm putting up, not just live stuff, but other videos that I'm going to be putting up on that channel. So I would so much appreciate it if you're new to the Midnight Mike Show, subscribe here. If you like us enough to watch the Jets and like horror movies, or I want to do Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I want to do The Breakfast Club, I want to do all these great Clerks, like go through the 80s and 90s and name all these great movies we all watched as kids and teens. I want to cover them all. So go over to Midnight Mike Studios and give me a subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Hit the like button, folks, especially over at Midnight Mike Studios, because in a little while, this video will only be for members only on the Midnight Mike Show channel. I know it's a lot to take in with the Midnight Mike Show, Midnight Mike Studios, but it is what it is. Anyway, I am Midnight Mike, your late night New York Jets host, your 21st Century Broadcasting Marvel. And I'll be honest, that was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.